Hi, everybody. Today, the topic of the session is from the lab to the battlefield, and it's about a fundamental question. What happens when artificial intelligence leaves the lab to enter the battlefield? Over the past 2 years, conflicts around the world have shown one clear trend. Operational advantage is no longer comes only from platform, but information. How fast you see, how fast you understand, how fast you decide, and how fast you act. And that it's exactly what AI is making a difference. To see beyond the buzzwords or we all hear during the year, we have 4 experts here to see across the defense ecosystem. Patrick Aufort, you are the director of the French Defense Agency. Keryer, you are Senior Vice President, Research Strategy and Technology for Thales. Bruno, you are lead AI for KNDS. And Raphael, you are the representative of the startup ecosystem with Hawai Tech. I have a first question for you both. From your perspective, Patrick, what is the top one operational use case where AI is already providing or will be very soon provide for a clear tactical or strategic advantage on the battlefield?
Thank you, François. I'm very happy to be here with you to discuss these very important topics. You know me, I won't answer only with one topic because there is so many use cases for AI to make the difference in the battlefield. 2 years ago, we made a survey and we identified around 400 use cases for defense. Trying to be efficient, I will say that if I need to focus on some few areas, I will say smart sensors with some functions such as detection, recognition, identification, but also multi-target tracking and localization. Of course, autonomous system, to be sure. Treatment analysis also of heterogeneous digital flow, such as picture, sound, videos. It's a challenge also that I could face for defense. And I will add one, which is natural language processing. But just to illustrate the topics of this conference, from the lab to the battlefield, I just like to point out that defense have some specificities. For example, data maybe are classified. Operational data could be very rare. Sensors, we have some specific sensors, such as sonar, for example, and also our environment. I was speaking about natural language processing. It's not the same to run some algorithm in the lab or in a Raphael cockpit, for example, if you are speaking about natural language processing. I will stop there, but...
There is a second question then. Same question for you, Stéphane. What is from the from the perspective of Thales, one key use case you would like to explain right now?
Yes, sure. So it would be a bit like Patrick. It's really difficult, and the choice is really hard to make. But maybe just as a word, AI, it's not a dream. It's really a reality. At Thales, we have been working for 40 years on it, and this is why today we have already 100 use cases which are ready to use as we speak. What we did as well is to bring together all the experts that we had in AI. We did this in 24, creating Cortex, which is putting together 800 experts across the different needs of AI, whether it is in sensors, as you were explaining, Patrick, or it is in systems. So, in terms of examples, I could use many. I could use, for example, you mentioned Raphael, what we put directly as an embedded AI into the optical pods that you put under the wings of a Raphael. But I decided to choose another example, which is AI in command centers. Because as a matter of fact, AI in command centers, what it is the brain of the military operations. And somehow this is where you take decisions from the strategic to the tactical level. And what has changed AI in terms of command centers, this is the fact that you can analyze and accelerate the tempo of a battlefield by order of magnitudes from days to hours, based on an information which is more and more important, and we talk about 100 times more information which is analyzed and processed. So at the end, what it requires as well, it is really being able to ingest somehow very different data, whether it is coming from sensors, this is what we call the data deluge, or this is also data from open source, from open information. And what it helps you to do, this is basically analyzing the data, being able to sort it, and then to recommend in somehow scenarios in order to be able to take decisions. So, and this is somehow a reality. We have been able to demonstrate, by the way, to the French forces, but as well at the level of NATO, that this was a reality, and this is the way we will have to design the C2s in the future.
Thank you. Bruno, same question for you, and just in a few seconds, just explain what is doing KNDS, because not everybody knows maybe your company.
Yeah, so KNDS France is a major company in defense creating ground solution, ground battlefield vehicles and systems. And so for KNDS France perspective, one of the major topic about artificial intelligence is ground robotics. Ground robotics, also called unmanned ground systems, UGVs, and aerial vehicles, and cooperation of both, is a really key topics for nowadays battlefield. It is commonly recognized that UGVs are becoming a real capability and must-have capability for all modern armed forces. Because they are bringing a lot of capabilities such as surveillance, reconnaissance, or even fire support. But the land battlefield is very hard to handle. Indeed, it is marked by obstacles. There is a lot of heterogeneous environments, a lot of rapidly evolving situations. And so there's UGVs, there's UAVs are equipped with advanced sensors, collecting a lot of data. But to be really powerful, their systems, to be really effective, their systems has to process this data. And to do it, AI is one of the feature needed to scale up. Indeed, from the data, you will be able to have evolving behaviors and movements, creating a capability to allow soldiers to really employ the systems, UGVs or UAVs, without losing their first mission. And to finish on it, the cooperation between UGVs and UAVs will also bring very important capabilities to even enhance these surveillance, recognitions, or even fire support capabilities.
Thank you, Bruno. Raphael, you are the startup guy of this stage. So can you explain what kind of solution does Hawai Tech provide, and one or two use cases you think it's pertinent to working on?
Yes, sure. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having a startup here. I think it's very important and representative of the ecosystem that big companies and state agencies need to work with startups to innovate. But first, to answer your question, what is Hawai Tech actually doing? So we are a startup working on AI. It's already in the name. But we do autonomy for vehicles. So we are experts in robotics and hardware. And hardware in the sense of computation power. And so we are basically partnering up with companies that are building vehicles. It can be drones, ground-based vehicles, or naval vehicles, and we are providing AI to make them autonomous. Because we believe that a lot of companies build amazing vehicles, and that's great, but they don't actually have all the time, some of them have, the expertise to build the autonomous step to bring this vehicle full autonomous. And that's what we are providing. And we have two big expertise, one being AI and one being execution of AI. And that's, to answer the second question, one particularity of AI for defense is that we talked about data and we talked about embedded AI, but that's very important and it requires a very specific type of AI models. So let's say you will never drive a UGV with LLM, to make it simple, and then you will, to embed this, there is a huge expertise that is required in order to achieve real-time computation and all the requirements so that the sensor processing is fast enough to decide afterwards where your vehicle needs to go. And when you're on the ground or in the air, it's very crucial to be fast on this topic because nowadays in defense everything is embedded, and so the real-time constraints are huge, and you have more and more intelligence that you need to bring on board the vehicles.
Thank you. We come back to Patrick. The second question for you. From your perspective of the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Armies, sorry, what are the main challenges that France must address to accelerate or to create the adoption of AI? And for a short future, for the next 2 years, what are these main challenges you address?
Two very important words in your question: acceleration and adoption. The key point is there. We need innovation to become projects in the field of our end users, scaling. And for me, there is, at least for defense, 4 areas to invest in. First is data. I spoke about data, but we need to be able to provide the industry with proper data in order for them to run their development process. Second major point for me is to provide also testing field. To test, it's the answer to acceleration. You need to test in real condition in order to accelerate your development. And maybe the third point about being able to deploy, so to adopt the technology, is to work on open architecture. I'm speaking about the systems, I'm speaking about the platform, I'm speaking to industry such as Thales, but also in France, you know, we set it up an agency dedicated to defense AI. All these actors need to develop open architecture in order to implement algorithm in an easy way, in a very appropriate rhythm. That's really a key point. And maybe a last point for defense that I would like to insist in, it's ethics. We heard a lot about ethics. We heard a lot about having a human in the loop, always. But we need to precise what this means in order not to lose the battle before to start the battle. Having a human in the loop does not mean having a human behind the red button for each action. It means that we need to determine the condition. For example, it could be by algorithm certification. It could be by precising the condition when we will use the technology. But we really need to have an innovative way to adopt ethics. And just 10 seconds. If you want a clear illustration of what are all these challenges, I invite you to come to the Defense Innovation Forum, an event the Defense Innovation Agency organized from Thursday to Saturday. It's open, it's free, you just have to register on the link is on the Defense Innovation Agency website, and you will have a lot of illustration.
Thank you, Patrick. And Philippe and Bruno, the same question for you. You represent 2 major companies in defense. What are your next challenges for acceleration and adoption?
So it will not look as a surprise and somewhat similar to what Patrick just mentioned. The challenge, or the main challenge, is definitely speed. When you look at geopolitics today, it requires us to react fast because when you look at AI, it is really special. Because it has really the power to really amplify everything we do. And it has also the capability to raise, in fact, the performance of the systems at the next level. So at the end, this is operational superiority. So therefore, what it means is accelerate the tempo of the introduction of AI inside the systems, notwithstanding the barriers that Patrick mentioned, in particular the access to data, the access and what we do with classified data, being able to work very close to the people owning the data, which is the forces. So if I would have two recommendations, one is accelerate the experiments working hand-in-hand with the forces and the users. The second one is more collaboration on data, and as you say, the agency being in charge, being able to collect, and where industrial can have access to data is definitely going in the right direction. And the last comment I would do is one constraint as well that we need to keep in mind. When we were doing products, then it was easy to export products because somehow the product was as it is and was independent from the usage that you were doing of the product. With AI, this is very different because your product is learning from the operational data. So as a matter of fact, it means that it is creating new challenges in order to sell products which embed AI capability. But this is also where we can help in order to make sure that somehow we can improve and consistently the product based on the operational experiences that you have in different domains, while keeping the constraints of sovereignty of data in the different nations in which we operate.
So I agree with you, Philippe, but I will do an add-on about the fact that one of the main challenge of next years is also to do not forget about humans. If I go back to my ground robotics and battlefield, my complex battlefield problematics, collaboration of human-machine is really important. Even if autonomous systems and AI-enabled systems are progressing rapidly, the human will remain essential in the human-in-the-loop problematics for supervision, even intervention or interpretation of AI-generated content or process. And this challenge is not only technological, it's also organizational and cultural. As I've mentioned earlier, land battlefield is really complex, and situation and environment will not able to let very soon the systems make action and decision by ourselves. Human will remain in the center of the combat, and to let the humans being able to do it, they will have to keep the keys of the systems. And to do so, they will have to keep the understanding of what the systems are doing. So one of the major challenge in KNDS point of view is that we have to develop systems with around human and not the other way around. And to do it, I see three problematics. The first one is really to create, to design systems based on human-centric application with the most transparent algorithms that we can, but also not too much specialist-based systems to be able to soldiers to operate all the systems without being data science specialists. Also, to work on certification, confidence of algorithms, to give confidence and adoption of soldiers to our systems, and then to finish the training and the doctrine. Patrick, you have talked about it. So we have to adapt our actual way of fighting with the use of these systems to drill on the use of unmanned systems, AI-enhanced systems, and to integrate it purely and completely into maneuvers.
Raphael, when you heard the word acceleration, maybe you don't have the same definition than big companies or Ministry of Armies. From your perspective, what could be more efficient to develop AI solution for defense?
So I think the speed point that came out is very important. It's reactivity, because if you design a system and only 10 years later you bring it on the market, you are not reactive to the needs from the battlefront. And therefore, to be reactive, I think we need to learn to get more innovative together. So the collaboration space needs to be open. I think space agencies like AAD make it happen, so that we can collaborate on the field, on the real testing environment, to get all together the same experience and work together, and therefore grow together the systems in order to be close to the point, to the things that are actually needed. And beside that, I think that in France we have a huge expertise on AI and a huge expertise on AI computation. We know how to do many things. We have to put all the puzzle modules together to make this big, powerful system happen. But I think we have this ability to make it. But there is also, so beside collaboration, it can be collaboration in France, but I think we as a startup need also to collaborate with foreign companies, foreign agencies, because I think all together we can make things more mature. But yeah, basically that's, I think, some of the challenges. And beside it, as a startup, because I'm the startup guy of the stage, the financing aspect is very important. So
you are the first one to speak about financing. It's interesting, just at the end.
Maybe I don't have the same issues as my colleagues here, but it's completely normal because I'm a startup. So no, but as a matter of fact, for a startup to be innovative, to develop fast, the financial funding needs to be there. It has to come from state. It has to come from private actors. And I think that's where, in France, we have some place to innovate as well.
Great. Thank you, all of you, for all this information. And like Patrick said, you are very welcome at the Forum Innovation Défense from Thursday at the Porte de Versailles.
Yes,
right? Okay.
location is Porte de Versailles, Parc des Expositions.
Right, thank you, and see you for the next stage with Amiad.
Thank you.